High school sports, we've got it covered. Overtime starts now.
Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to Overtime. I'm Regan Holgate.
And I'm Scott Leber. We have another big night of highlights. We're going to take you to Winnebago, Durand, Dixon, and all around the Nick 10.
The Hononegah girls team just completed another undefeated season in the Nick 10. I'll talk about that with Hononegah head coach Jason Brunke.
And I'm going to shine our spotlight on one Harlem fan who's been glued to the Harlem basketball game since the mid-1960s.
But we begin with the best conference race in boys basketball here in the state line, the one happening in the Big Northern Conference right now. 4 teams went into this weekend still with hopes of winning the championship or at least a piece of it.
2 of them were Rockford Christian and Dixon. The Royal Lions turned this conference race up a notch last Friday night by defeating Byron. So could they pull off another monster win tonight at Dixon? It's the Gillies Heating and Air Conditioning Game of the Week. Dixon came into this game 7-1 in the conference. Rockford Christian was 6-1. Darius Harrington had a size advantage for the Dukes. He posts up and gets the points. He would have a big night. JT Samuels comes back with a 3. Christian Cummings then sticks the mid-range jumper. Harrington at this end will connect with Austin Hicks, who gets the and 1, and he's going to let that soak in a second there. Cummings will throw in a 3-pointer. He scored 23 points in the game. The Royal Lions led at halftime by 1, 30-29. Speaking of halftime, the Dixon dads and daughters cheerleaders were a treat. Check it out, Reagan. This is great. These men have moves here.
I love it.
Watch the jumps coming up here. Some great athleticism here. I especially like that jump right there. That was and then you got this guy doing the mount. So, I mean, this was spectacular. Should we just watch this or get back to the highlights?
Let's get back to the hoops.
I give those dads some credit, though. Back to the highlights. Elijah Doherty hits from deep for the Royal Lions in the third quarter. But then the Dukes exploded. Harrington will score in the paint. Harrington one more time down low. He scored 24 points. Hicks will hit for 3 of his 19 points. They were nailing them from deep, the Dukes were. Bryce Fight here. Gonna get 3 more after the little fake. And then Fight one more time from the corner for 3. He scored 11 points. Colin Shaner scored 17. Dixon pulled away to win big, 81-58.
Feels good. We knew we had to come out hard in the second half. I mean, feels good.
Kind of tell me what your thought was in the locker room at halftime about what you had to do in that second half.
Honestly, we had to obviously get a hand up on Cummings and number 5, and we just had to get the hand up on them. Obviously, they're going to make tough shots, but we just knew we just had to kind of contain them a little bit and honestly just get back on defense because I know they had a lot of transition points in the first half, and I thought we did a better job that second half getting back on defense and honestly being patient and getting at whatever we wanted on offense.
What'd you guys learn about yourselves tonight that you can take forward from here?
Honestly, that we can beat good teams. I mean, honestly, we can compete with any team. I feel like we can.
Yeah, big win for Dixon. In another big Northern Conference game tonight, Rockford Lutheran took on Winnebago. Winnebago's ball finds Blaze Brown behind the arc, and he drills a 3 for the first points of the game. Crusaders coming right back with it, though. Marquise Haynes with another 3-pointer to tie it right back up. Mitchell Cunningham for the Indians now hits the jumper from the stripe. Lutheran coming back again, though. You seeing a pattern here? Haynes down the lane, gets it to fall, and 1. Haynes doing it all early in this one, folks. Behind the back dribble, pulls up, and nails it from the paint. Miles Smith now for the Indians, coming down the lane, hits him with the windmill move to lay it in. Pretty play there in this back and forth matchup, but Lutheran comes away with this one, 69-58. Also in the Big Northern Conference, Byron down Stillman Valley 91-47. The big story there, though, Ryan Tucker of Byron scored 32 points, and he became the all-time leading scorer in Byron school history. He broke a record that had stood since 1956. Also, Rock Falls beat Genoa Kingston 81-61, and Oregon was victorious over North Boone 62-53.
So the top half of the Big Northern Conference race looks like this. Byron and Dixon finish up conference play both with 8-1 records, but because Byron beat Dixon in their head-to-head game, Byron is the conference champion. That's the tiebreaker that was set up by the conference. Rockford Christian and Lutheran are tied for third at 6-2. They still have to play each other in a conference game next Wednesday. Rock Falls sits in fifth place at 6-3. The Pecatonica boys basketball team already has the NUIC North Championship in the bag, but the Indians still have motivation.
They want to finish conference play undefeated. They were at Durand tonight for a conference game, and so was Taylor Castro. She joins us now. Hi, Taylor.
Hi guys, Pecatonica took an 8-0 conference record into this game, and they were looking to improve that to 9-0. Peck and Durand co-op in football, so these guys who took the court tonight know each other pretty well. There was a full gym tonight for this matchup, a lot of dual threat athletes going from the field to the court. Here's one of them, Cooper Hoffman, lays one in for the Indians. Braden Hughes driving to the basket and gets this one to fall for Durand. Nathan Folk on the fast break puts 2 more on the board, but Pecatonica was still up big early in this one. The Indians are one of the top teams in the state, and they don't play selfishly. Jackson Diedrich gets the rebound, lobs it to Jordan Gassman, who finds an open Mason Peterson for the bucket. Peterson off the inbound and nails a 3. The senior came up big tonight. And here comes Peterson again. This time he'll drill a mid-range jumper. The Bulldogs trying to make some halftime adjustments. Durand trailed 48-22. Pecatonica keeping its foot on the gas. Diedrich for a 3, and it's nothing but net. Hoffman finds Gassman for the layup, and it looks like the QB to wide receiver connection transfers to the court. They've still got another year. Pecatonica beats Durand 68-51. Pecatonica is ranked 3rd in the state this week in Class 1A. The Indians have a couple interesting non-conference games coming up. Tomorrow they'll host Neuqua Valley, which is coached by former Pecatonica coach Todd Sutton. Then Monday, the Indians will play at Rockford Christian. Reagan and Scott.
Pecatonica against Rockford Christian, that's going to be a must-see game.
That is. Now get your popcorn, folks. We have Nick 10 boys highlights coming up in a bit, but up next, I sit down with head coach of the Nick 10 girls champions, the Hononegah Indians.
Well, players come and go at Hononegah, but the Lady Indians keep finishing on top of the Nick 10.
They just won the conference yet again, and they have won 56 straight Nick 10 games. So this week I sat down with their head coach, Jason Brunke, to learn more about what's made this team so successful. Nick 10 champions for the 4th year in a row. What has been the difference for these girls, for your team, for this program, over the last 3-4 years?
Every year is a new challenge, of course, and I think that's probably the #1 thing is every year the new girls are ready to step up to that challenge, and we say that every single year, a path has been paved for you, but you have some players carrying over and others coming in. And the important thing is that they realize that the target's on their back and the challenge is in front of them, and they have to continue to remember what got us that target. And they've just done, and this group again has done an incredible job of owning up to that and being willing to take that on.
I think one of the things I've noticed with your team this year is your effort on the defensive side of the ball. Defense wins games, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing we preach, we have for 4 years here as well, is that you can control that, right? I mean, and that's the one thing, shots will be made and missed, and nobody's ever trying to miss shots. And defense and effort and intensity and rebounding, those are all things that you can control as a player. I think probably the one thing that really stands out about this group is they find a way to get it done. It's not always pretty, we haven't been as statistically as offensively powerful as we have in years past as far as efficiency, shooting and stuff like that. But they find a way to gut it out, and they find a way to will themselves to victories.
What has set these girls up for success in those really big moments, and obviously those big moments that they're going to face later on in the postseason?
Yeah, I think our senior leadership. I think that's a big thing. We've got 4 senior starters. We've got 3 senior starters that have some pretty good varsity experience. Obviously led by Jordan, who's been a 4-year varsity starter. And I think they've seen a lot of those moments.
And obviously playoffs starting this weekend, crazy that we're already here, yeah. Right? What is the mindset, for this group going into the postseason? We've been talking, continue to ascend. That's what it's got to be. Obviously what we've done in conference has been tremendous, and we'll reflect upon that, when we can and when we should, and I think that's what's important. I think this group gets it. We finished last year, and give Harlem a lot of credit. We finished, a little disappointing last year. After the regular season we had,
And we've continued to kind of challenge them and say, remember how that felt, remember how that felt when that happened. And we know we've got to be focused and ready, and we know we have to continue to get better, if we want to go where we are capable of going.
How do the girls feel?
I think they feel great. This is a super fun group. They really like each other a lot, and that type of thing. So I think they're really enjoying the success we've had. They have their eye on the prize, and I think they're ready to go.
I know that you just told me too that you'll reflect on what you've done in the conference, when you have time. But okay, you have a few seconds right now. Reflect on what you've done in the Nick 10 conference.
It's very remarkable, and again, I'm thankful for having our great coaching staff. Coach Simpson, I could not do it without him. He's a veteran. He's obviously a Hall of Fame baseball coach. He's going to hate me for saying that. But I knew coming in that he was going to be absolutely essential to helping me, kind of take that leap. Obviously, it's a big jump from JV to varsity, and having him and having my entire coaching staff and continue to build the expectations throughout the program. And then, of course, lastly, the players. The players and the support of their families. We have incredible families. It's just been great to see them rewarded for all their hard work and all their efforts, and it truly is a community effort. It's just really been incredible, and I'm thankful for everything I've been able to kind of see here.
Now, Hononegah will graduate 5 key seniors from this team, but Coach Brunke will always find a way to plug those holes. And
he has current sophomore Jordan Dimke to build around. She's going to be a candidate, I think, for Nick 10 MVP the next couple seasons because she has a very high upside to her game. Our spotlight story on Harlem's super fans coming up in just a bit.
But next, we have Nick 10 boys highlights. The Guilford Vikings were trying to stay undefeated in the conference.
The Guilford Vikings have the Nick 10 Boys Championship secured for this season. Their second straight one, but that was only goal number 1 for them.
They want to go deep in the postseason, so they need to stay sharp. They cannot ease up. Tonight, they hosted the Belvedere North Blue Thunder at the Ship. Guilford was looking good in the second quarter. Jaden Webster gets the pass down low and finishes the layup. On the other end, Braden Brown drives into the paint and goes off the glass for 2. Then Adam Brown decides to go for the pull-up jumper, and it pays off. Up next for the Vikings, it's Jayshawn Fry weaving through traffic, goes with the Euro step, and gets the bucket. But North came out of the break firing. Braden Brown wide open in the corner, rifles home a triple. Malachi Johnson will answer, though, with a turnaround jumper for the Vikes. Guilford was up 7 halfway through the third. But Adam Brown has some handles of his own, just like that little guy. He shows them off here, spins, shoots, and scores. Then comes this on the Guilford end, swinging the ball around to Mike Jaleel. He goes up for the two-handed slam, but that little stare down he gave Braden Brown got him a technical. He's like, what did I do? Questionable call there, for sure. The Vikings started to pull away after that one. Johnson again from mid-range, knocks down the jump shot. And the icing on the cake comes from Jaden Webster, a nice little corner 3. Guilford comes up with a big win, 67-47. And with that, the Vikings stay unbeaten in the Nick 10 at 17-0. They have one conference game left against Auburn next week.
Speaking of Auburn, the Knights were at Jefferson tonight. Knights champ Parker, a sophomore, going to be dribbling outside the arc here. Looks for Brian Harper. Harper will sink the 3 ball. That's what he does. Jayhawks ball now. They respond with their version of the 3-pointer by Zaire Hudson. Harper will fake out Benjamin Tyler there, and Harper frees himself for the jumper. Hudson comes back on the fast break as Randy Johnson, and Johnson will power it up as usual despite the double team. Auburn's ball, the Knights' Brian Harper, again a 3 ball. This one from even deeper. And the Knights defense coming into effect here. The steal by Rakeem Cheney tosses it to Tazir Henderson. That adds 2 points off the turnover. Cheney led the Knights with 19 points. Auburn defeats Jefferson 63-37. That's 7 straight wins now for the Knights.
The Freeport Pretzels were trying to move closer to the 20-win mark. They hosted Boylan tonight. Game was tied at 26 at halftime until Diedrich Macon flies down the lane and gets the and one to fall. Macon, again for the Pretzels, gets another layup to go. He scored 15 points. Boylan, trying not to let the game slip away, though, finds Ryan Stark from 3-point land. It's good. Stark scored 13. but Freeport able to come right back. Reed Pearson fights his way under the hoop and one. The Titans' Philip Dixon not going down without a fight, though. Gets the changeover lay-in to go in. How about that? But the Pretzels would take it over late. Making down the lane, throws it to Kazion Moorhead, who drops in a three. And then Moorhead will find Jaden Marion, who lays down the boom with the slam dunk dagger. Freeport beats Boylan 63-44.
Hananiga has quietly put together a nice season. The Indians were at Belvedere this evening. Indians' Darian Tholine pump faking as we get into the action. And Landon Cloudy sticking the three there. Cloudy scored 24 points. The Bucks' Jason Dean has a long coast-to-coast trip here. Dribbling to the side. What's he gonna do with it? He's gonna take it to the rack. Puts it in there. The Bucks again on the fast break from Jason Dean to Demetrius Taborn. Taborn gets the bucket. Hananiga's Isaiah Hui. Some great defense here, just like he does on the football field. A little finger roll for the lay-in. Big effort by Colton Baird here with his first block, and then how about a second one there? And lastly, a third rejection. Very impressive. Hananiga takes care of Belvedere 88-68.
And our final Nick 10 game of the night had East playing at Harlem. Huskies on the fast break find Trace Smith, who pulls up from outside the arc and drains it. East Marquise Goldsmith fighting for the basket on the other end, gets it, and the foul. Then Sterling Horde adds three more for the E-Rabs from way downtown. But Bo Beeler is like, I see you, and I raise you three more. Another Huskies triple on the board. Beeler again here. Finds an open lane and goes for the reverse layup. And Beeler again will try for three. No good there, but Boris Joncic is there for the putback. Harlem gets a win on senior night, 56-51. So the updated Nick 10 standings now show Guilford at 17-0. Auburn is still in second place at 13-3. Freeport right behind the Knights at 12-4. Then comes Belvedere North at 9-7. And Hananiga at 8-8 rounds out the top five. Up next, it's our Overtime Spotlight segment.
I catch up with a Harlem fan who has pretty much seen it all when it comes to Harlem basketball over the last 60 years. Last Saturday night was a very special night at Harlem High School. They celebrated 100 years of Harlem Huskies basketball. No one enjoyed the night more than one particular Harlem fan did. We're bringing his story now in our Spotlight segment, brought to you by Benchmark Exteriors.
Here we go, Huskies!
Keith Hale is a 1973 graduate of Harlem. He's been going to Harlem basketball games for parts of 7 decades.
My dad took me to see Donnie Tresmer when he was a senior, and I believe that was in 64 or 65.
After that, Hale was hooked. He's been going to games ever since. He rarely has missed a game.
I generally have been to 95% of the Harlem games. There you go, there you go. Run the floor. There you go, yeah.
He keeps his own stats in a little notebook while watching games, and he gets vocal cheering on the Huskies.
Battle, there you go.
You don't get on the officials,
I
do you?
don't get on the officials, no. I don't. Only one time have I crossed the line with an official.
Hale's wife, Patricia, is also a Harlem graduate.
Our first date was at a basketball game over at Rockford West.
I'm not surprised. When Harlem celebrated 100 years of basketball last Saturday, many of the top 100 scorers stretching over many decades of the school's history came back. Hale saw most of them play.
A lot of them I didn't recognize until they got announced, and then it's like, I remember him.
Hale certainly remembers Harlem's all-time scoring leader, Mike Floyd, who graduated in 1971. Hale says Floyd is easily the best Harlem player he's seen.
He was the type of player that if you come out and guarded him, he'd take you to the basket. And he was strong enough that he could do that. And if you fell back on him, he'd shoot a 22-footer and knock him down.
Hale also saw the great Mike Hidden play in the late 80s.
He got 51 points against Belvedere, and I remember that night so vividly. There it is. Yeah!
The high school game has changed a lot since the 60s and 70s. Hale wasn't sold on the three-point shot at first when it became a part of the game.
When they went to the three-point shot, I was like, man, I don't know if I'm going to like this, because I think players are going to start throwing up shots they shouldn't throw up. But it's been fun watching them. There you go, Bo.
Unfortunately, there haven't been a lot of championships won here over the years.
No.
What's kept you going through all these
Just
games?
my love of basketball. I just love watching high school basketball. I just enjoy watching good athletes and the stories. Oh, man. The things I've seen. Good quarter, Huskies! Good quarter! I'm proud to be a Husky. Proud to be a Husky.
Hale says he played some basketball back in junior high, but not in high school.
I love that he first ate with his wife Patricia at a Harlem basketball game.
Yeah.
We love love.
Yeah,
here,
their
okay?
first date. Yeah, and their 50th anniversary is coming up, so it wouldn't surprise me if they spent that at a basketball
I'm
game
sure.
also. We're going to be right back after one final timeout.
It's that time of the night where we bring you the best highlight captured on our cameras this week.
It's the Napleton Auto Group Play of the Week. This was a slick play by the Auburn Knights Wednesday against Harlem. Amir Danforth is going to make the alley-oop pass just like his uncle Fred Van Vliet would to Keon Leach, and Leach dunked it down. Take another look by Danforth. He put it exactly where Leach wanted it. Right spot. Not easy to do, but he made it look easy. That's the Play of the Week.
Be sure to join us every Friday night at 11 o'clock right here on Fox 39.
That'll do it for this show. Have a great weekend.